number of moves this offseason, including bringing in Tyrod Taylor and drafting Baker Mayfield. Hugh Jackson said, quote, "Right now, Tyrod is the starter." We're joined once again by Greg Jennings. Greg, over under 5.5 wins for the Browns next season.
This is tough. I'm gonna go with the over. I'm gonna go with the over. I like the Browns. A few months back, I was talking about the Browns and what they needed, and then what they lost with Jake Long. Obviously, the pillar of that organization as a player, from a player perspective.
You mean Joe Thomas?
Joe Thomas. But when you look at Flash, Josh Gordon coming back, he was one of the best receivers in the game when he was playing, when he was healthy, and when he had his head on straight, which I don't know how many times he's really had his head on straight. But if he can stay in the thick of things with the Jarvis Landry, you have a Tyrod Taylor and a Baker Mayfield that you've acquired.
Corey Coleman.
Carlos Hyde, Demarius Rand. What John Snyder and Hugh Jackson have done has been very impressive in their short time together.
Dorsey, you mean?
John Dorsey, I'm sorry. I like what I'm seeing out of the Cleveland Browns, specifically even with the Baker Mayfield. A lot of people was shocked about it. I like that pick for them because he's a fiery guy who shows emotion and passion, and he is a competitor. Somebody that John Dorsey believes he can come in this locker room, he can command a huddle, he can get guys to play for him, with him. You think about a Jarvis Landry, a very, very passionate guy, a guy who's going to give you 100% every single time he's on the football field. This team, and they lost a lot of tight games last year. They didn't get blown out every time they played. So this was an 0-16 team that could have easily won 3 games last year that didn't go their way. I see them being over those 5 games.
I'm going under. I understand they have a last place schedule, but they got the NFC South and they have the AFC West. Plus, they played the Steelers twice. And plus, let's not forget this. They won 1 game in the last 2 years, Greg.
I get that.
One game. That's what they won in the last 2 years. And normally, it's very rarely you see a rookie quarterback in and immediately, unless the team, like you saw what Russell Wilson did for Seattle, but they were built differently. You saw what the Pittsburgh Steelers did when they got Ben Roethlisberger, but they were built differently. Now, Andrew Luck came in, had some success, so did RG3. But when a team is this bad, for a quarterback to change the fortunes immediately is normally few and far between. And so with that being said, I'm going to take the under. And, hey, I think Skip believed in him. Skip plunged. After the season was over with, he said, Cleveland, go ahead and take Baker Mayfield. Well, he got his wish. We're going to find out. But I just don't see them getting more. I don't see them getting 6 wins. I'm going 5 or under.
And I am with Greg. I am going over because what Baker Mayfield does best, and this is a compliment, is he front runs. And he's going to have some front to run with here. If you let him get off and get hot and get rolling with weapons as he did at Oklahoma, and he had a spectacular array of weapons, look out. Because the best things he does, speed read and throw deadly accurate passes to open weapons. This is starting to look like the Oklahoma version of the NFL. Because these are weapons, man. Josh Gordon, and again, I don't know. God bless him. I hope he keeps his head on straight.
Yes, please, Josh.
Please, but Josh Gordon, Jarvis Landry, Corey Coleman, David Njoku is one of the better pass catchers.
Yeah, I didn't even mention him.
Yeah, and then that Antonio Callaway they drafted from Florida, supremely gifted but supremely troubled. So there's another X factor. But you got Nick Chubb along with Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson. You can flip it or hand it to any of those 3 and have a parade of running backs. Man, if they get again, I have nothing but respect for Tyrod, but he couldn't do with this offense what Baker can do if he can live up to it, if he can stand up to the heat. And boy, the heat's going to be brought on him. And you know this is a man's game, and you know they like to devour young, rookie quarterbacks. But he is built to take this. He is built to stand up to the test. And if you give him enough weapons and just a little bit of time to find the open one, he'll find him. And he was the most accurate passer, and I kept saying he's the most NFL ready. I just think he's a man. He doesn't care. Nothing bothers him. He won't shrink under the pressure to live up to being the #1 overall
Well,
player.
it is a different type of pressure. And people say, well, he won the Heisman, but he wasn't thought as the Heisman front runner at the beginning of the season.
He was
so
not.
there's a different type of expectation. Skip, you know this. Being a quarterback is one thing. Being the first pick in the draft as a quarterback, and you go into this franchise, which has struggled so much because of the quarterback
Gotten it
position,
wrong.
he has to be John Elway. That's what he needs to be.
The difference with what Baker Mayfield is walking into versus all those other quarterbacks, you're talking about a legitimate 1-2 punch at your receiver position now. You talk about Josh Gordon. I don't know how he didn't play a full season the year that he went bananas.
Yeah,
He went
missed the
bananas.
first 2 games.
Like he missed the first 2 games.
Yep.
1,600.
And do you understand what that is a quarterback's, you talk about a running back, he has Carlos Hyde, Nick Chubb, guys who he can turn around and hand the ball off to, pass it to out of the backfield, who are great in protection.
Can anybody get open quicker than Jarvis Landry can? Just get open.
The thing about Jarvis is, open or not, he has some of the best hands that I have seen. He in traffic, he's gonna catch the ball. I like.
They had a nice little combo for like a year. Remember Derek Anderson throwing the ball to Braylon Edwards?
Yeah.
They had a nice little stretch, and then they had Peyton Hillis. Peyton Hillis running that thing, Skip, and then it was
This
gone.
is different. This
It-
is
oh,
different. There are more
They have way
weapons,
more. They have
you know?
way more talent. This might be the most talented team in a
Yes.
very long time.
Yes.
Denzel Ward, the best corner in
Yeah.
the draft, who
I
could
like
be
that
the
pick.
Marshawn Lattimore
Yeah.
of this year's crop, and Demarius Randall, and all of a sudden maybe the defense lifts up, and maybe Baker gets off hot enough that it inspires everyone, and they're going to have to pull off a couple of upsets. But I can see him winning 6 or 7 games. I said 7.
Not to get off topic, Skip, but if you don't mind me asking, who had the most first-round draft picks this year? What team had the most players selected in the NFL draft this year? I know.
You're talking about Alabama.
I wasn't talking about nothing. I didn't say nothing.
Which team had the most
I just
draft
asked you a question, Skip. I just asked you a question. That's all you had to do.
Well, I wish one of them had gone to Dallas, Rashawn Evans, and he didn't. Unfortunately, we got the Boise State guy.
I mean, what you want me to do, Skip?
Well,
Alabama, keep that thing loaded.
yeah,
Van Der Esch's gonna shock the world.
he better. And yeah,
So optimistic today.
but our 7th round draft pick was your running back who once upon a time, Bo Scarborough. I thought he was like unstoppable, and then he got stoppable.
There's something about Alabama running backs.
Yeah.
Most teams, I've talked to some teams, said there's no tread on the tire because Coach Saban is grinding them down because you know what type of offense. Look at Eddie Lacy. Look at Trent Richardson.
Yes.
We're going to see what Bo Scarborough, it's the guys.
If he hadn't gotten hurt, going back 2 championship games, the first one against Deshaun, I think they win that game. Remember he got hurt?
They might have.
Yeah.
But, I mean, really, the only running back that's really
No,
had
it was
success,
the second.
Alabama was probably, what's the guy who went to Seattle?
Big man.
Sean Alexander.
Oh, yeah.
But he was a tiptoe bandit. He wasn't taking no contact from nobody.
wasn't. As big as he was.
Oh, the tiptoe bandit getting up out of bounds. Hey, he throw that blink on in a minute. Get right up out of
Yeah, leave
bounds.
it there. Greg, thanks for joining us. Should the Cavs be scared of the Raptors? We'll discuss that next.